Welcome to your symptom score form. This is where we're going to help quantify how you're feeling and how you're progressing. Much like golf, the lower the score, the better. And I'm going to go over how to fill this out, but essentially what we're doing is we're looking at all these different symptoms that could be stemming from diet and GI issues or other factors, but I do see a common thread. A lot of times at that root cause, we're dealing with GI issues and inflammation and food-induced inflammation. So this is something I use with a lot of my clients before we start into the programs like the Empowered Healing Program or the training camps or some of the e-courses. But you can use this before doing any sort of dietary change if you want. It's a way to help keep track of how things are progressing. It can be difficult to know, like, gosh, well, am I feeling better? Is this working? I don't really know if we aren't keeping track of the data. So what we're going to do is we're going to score each of these symptoms, and I'll go over that in a minute, but we're going to score them. And you just put the numbers in based on what we'll talk about, and it will total up each section as well as the grand total. And essentially, the higher the number, the more you're suffering, the more a person is suffering, whether that's because you've got a couple symptoms that are really severe, or maybe the symptoms are a little more mild, but they are just systemic through your whole body. So this is a great way to kind of check week to week if what you're doing is making a difference, because you can kind of analyze each of these symptoms and see, are they getting a little bit better, a little bit worse? What's going on with it? So if this is your first time doing it, you want to kind of do the average from the entire past month. How's that kind of going? But then I do encourage you, do this week to week. Use this to see, is what I'm trying working? Because you want results. And so this helps you sort of take this abstract idea of how you're feeling and help quantify it a little bit more. So a couple notes on what this means, how to score it. If you are on a prescription medication for any symptom listed here, that automatically scores you as a 4, which is the highest score. And again, low is better. We want those golf scores. But if this symptom is severe enough to warrant medical intervention, then that automatically makes it a 4. For other things, what I mean by severe is basically something that interferes with your normal day-to-day, whether that's like your joints ache or hurt so much that you can't do the exercises you want, or you can't walk down the stairs without kind of clenching a little bit. That's interfering with that day-to-day ability. Or maybe it affects your mood. Like you're just so tired, you're so frustrated with these symptoms that you're losing your cool with your family or your coworkers or your friends, or even just in your own mind, and it's adding to irritation. That's affecting your day-to-day. So I consider that severe. The mild is more when it's like, hey, it's there, I notice it, and you move on. Though I do caution, I do have what I call my stoics, which are people who have had this symptom for so long that while it does interfere with their ability to work, exercise, sleep, they've just gotten used to it, so they consider it mild. So be mindful of that. Even if you're used to it and you in your mind kind of don't feel like it's that bad because it's just become your norm. Is it affecting your sleep? Is it affecting your energy levels, your focus, something like that? In which case it still would be considered severe because it is affecting your day-to-day. You have just gotten so conditioned to this new version of norm. Okay, so you're going to use these numbers 0 through 4 based on how often and how severe. So again, mild and severe, we just discussed that. Occasional or frequent. So occasional basically means if it's once a week or less. So maybe you do have it a couple times a month, but it's not every single week. Now, once you start doing this week to week, it basically occasionally means just once. Because if you had a 0, then you're throwing it down on a full 0. Oops, do that. Okay, so 0 through 4 is how you are going to score these things. And what you do, you just go in these lighter blue boxes and you just go down and you start putting them in. Based on, what is it? Restless, maybe I can't sit still. It's every day, but it's not too bad. I'm still getting my work done. Sleepiness, oh man, yeah, there was a day this week I had to take a nap. There was no way I could get through work. I was chugging coffee. So it was severe, but it was only occasional, but it was strong. It was a strong symptom, and so on. So you just kind of go through and put these down. And it's going to give you a grand total for that section. So you go ahead and do this for all of these. And as you start just putting numbers in, you'll see that we're also getting a grand total up here. So the goal is with any program, you want to see that progressing. Now, certain programs may move faster, certain may move slower, but it just depends where you're coming from, what you're doing, what all the compounding factors are. But it's a great way to keep track of this. So I hope you'll use this. Some of the expectations, I do see people in my training camp, like 7-day crash course, get this number reduced pretty nicely. And again, that sort of depends where they're coming from. I work with people one-on-one. If we're getting into the empowered healing program, this symptom score, I've had people range anywhere from like 36 to 170, depending what's going on. But no matter where we start, our bare minimum reduction in 90 days is 50%, with the actual average targeted at about 64% reduction in 90 days. So that's an intensive program. It does this whole reboot. We use a couple labs, but if you really need to get these numbers down, you're just tired of these frustrating symptoms, all of this going on, that's, reach out. We can talk about that, see if it's a good fit for you and if the program would work for your situation. But even if not, if you're just trying like a low FODMAPs diet or an AIP diet, or you want to try like a Whole30 or, whatever it is, go ahead and use this. Get a copy of this, reach out. I'll try to make a link where you can get a PDF of it, or get the Excel sheet actually, so it auto calculates for you. But yeah, use that to track, see if it's working or not. If it's not improving, then try something else. Keep digging, keep asking questions, keep looking for answers. So I hope this is helpful.